World of Warcraft was once defined by a simple yet profound rivalry, Horde versus Alliance. Today we're asking, should we have kept the Horde and Alliance as distinct and divided as they were in vanilla? From the moment you picked your faction, it felt like you were choosing a side in a never-ending war, but over time that line blurred. Should we have kept the differences between Horde and Alliance stronger? And should the factions have remained as distinct as they were in vanilla WoW, preserving that feeling of playing two entirely different games based on your choice? In vanilla WoW, Horde and Alliance weren't just two factions, they were two worlds. Horde had shamans with their totems and connection to the elemental spirits, while the Alliance had paladins, champions of the light with auras and blessings. These class restrictions weren't just gameplay mechanics, they were a reflection of each faction's identity. The Horde's rugged, survivalist ethos felt completely different from the Alliance's structured, noble ideals. Playing through Horde zones felt raw and primal. Harsh landscapes like the Barrens and Desolus reinforced that. Meanwhile, Alliance zones like Elwyn Forest and Red Ridge Mountains felt like stepping into a storybook kingdom. This separation extended to every aspect of the game. Even the cities told a story. Orgrimmar was a fortress of spikes and raw power, while Stormwind was a symbol of human resilience and grandeur. Then came the Burning Crusade, and the lines began to blur. Horde players could now roll Blood Elf Paladins, and Alliance got Draenei Shamans. On one hand, it made sense. Adding these iconic classes to both factions helped balance raiding and PvP. But on the other hand, it was the first step in eroding the unique identity of each faction. Paladins, once synonymous with the Alliance's faith and nobility, suddenly felt less special. And shamans, the spiritual leaders of the Horde, became just another class. The decision made sense mechanically, but did it come at the cost of immersion? The faction differences weren't just about class availability, they shaped the entire experience. Imagine if Blizzard had doubled down on this instead of merging identities. What if the Horde and Alliance had entirely different quest lines, battleground objectives, or even crafting recipes? Take Alterac Valley, for instance. Instead of both factions fighting to kill enemy generals, what if the Horde's objective was to burn down Alliance fortifications while the Alliance tried to rescue civilians? Unique goals could have driven the idea of a faction war home even more. Or look at World PvP. What if there were faction-specific perks for holding territory, reinforcing the idea that every skirmish in Hillsbrad or Stranglethorn mattered? Fast forward to today, and Horde and Alliance players can quest, raid, and even guild together. The faction war, once the backbone of WoW's story, has become more of a footnote. While this makes sense for gameplay accessibility, it raises a question. Have we forfeited the soul of WoW for convenience? When both factions play the same way, see the same zones, and fight the same battles, does your choice even matter anymore? Shouldn't rolling Horde or Alliance feel like stepping into a fundamentally different game? So what could Blizzard do to bring back that sense of faction pride? For starters, they could revisit faction-exclusive content, unique questlines, racial bonuses, or even restricted zones. Imagine if Horde and Alliance had entirely different leveling experiences, or if certain raid bosses had unique mechanics depending on your faction. And what if the faction war was reignited in a meaningful way? Imagine cross-faction PvP objectives in new zones, or incentives for players to push their faction to dominance on their server. At its heart, World of Warcraft has always been about the stories we tell, shaped by the factions we choose. The Horde and Alliance aren't just labels, they're identities, woven into the fabric of the game. So I'll leave you with this. Should we have kept the Horde and Alliance as distinct and divided as they were in vanilla? Or is the modern approach, blurring the lines and focusing on unity, the right way forward? Let me know what you think in the comments. Horde or Alliance? What does it mean to you? And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in Azeroth.